Whoa, whoa, hi, hey, it's me. Anyways, hello my little storms, it is I, and today I'm back with another slideshow commentary. This one is on a furtuber of the name Seethercord. So for context, Seethercord made a video discussing this image right here, which seemingly has to do with fursuits and people of different sizes. That's kind of it. Look, I know that sounds weirdly vague, but this is going to be important for a point I'll need to make when we get to it. And with all said, let's begin, shall we?
Recently, a lot of furries on Twitter have gotten up in arms about a tweet from a furry artist that they posted on Twitter. And this artist is known as Flufffox Luck, or to be more specific, at RexFurryLuck on Twitter. And this is an artist within the furry fandom that does more kind of adult-oriented content, to say the least. And recently, they posted an art piece, or a drawing, kind of giving their take on how fursuits should be done. And to pull up on the screen right now exactly what the drawing piece shows.
Alright. To make a JoJo haha for a second, let me just stop time real quick to, look at this. Uno, keep in mind how Seethercord states the Twitter artist's name. It comes in later for a point, trust me. Dos, I'd hate to be the person who's like, I go through graphic design classes, so I'm fucking god now. But, I do go to graphic design classes, so let me critique this editing for a second. Homie, this is a bit distracting. You have two detailed images over detailed gameplay that has a totally yet still bright color scheme along with your character as well as your image. This is a problem, as I described before. This is hard to focus on, especially with the moving in the background. If I could provide solutions to this loss of focus, I'd recommend fading the background and maybe the sprite too into a state of very low saturation, so that the image that is being discussed has the ability to be focused on more with its popping out of different colors. You could also blur the footage out so that it looks less detailed, as well as make the sprite smaller so that the image has a chance to be bigger, thus becoming the focal point from covering so much of the screen. Sorry about that, I just think that this could have been done better, not as messy as it is now, especially considering how I see this done everywhere, so let me cry, Jesus!
From my knowledge at least, I'm pretty much sure it's obvious, they kind of indicate when it comes to people owning fursuits or wanting to wear fursuits at conventions, particularly fursuits that are a little bit more on the bigger side, they say it is better for a actually bigger person to wear a big fursuit rather than having a smaller person put stuffing inside of their bigger fursuit.
Wait, is that what the post said? Alright, this is why I said that me not going into detail is important, because we are only given this image and the artist's name as any sort of source, which isn't good in this case. From what I've gotten from the Twitter artist's account, they said that they personally prefer the fursuits to be worn like this because they'd like to hug a real belly and not padding or puddings. Listen, that's what was stated. But anyways, my points still stand. They didn't treat it as an objective fact that one is better than the other, but just said that that's what they prefer, which you can talk about. Just don't treat it like they're trying to build a hierarchy of what's right and wrong with fursuits of different sizes. This is a problem, along with not actually having sources, because finding all this was a bit difficult, and when you're a presenter, you should present all the info, not just what you think is correct, because you could be wrong or accidentally cutting context. Now, before one is like, what if people want to attack the artist using the link of the post? Then I just have to remind you that the name was already given of the artist, so if someone wanted to attack them, then they could have easily done what I have and just searched them up on Twitter. So you either give all info or none. TLDR, please present info better, because when you don't, things can get bent backwards purposely or not.
F***ing Roblox!
Before we get this riled up, before we get into the arguments of, body positivity or weight loss or things like that, or what size is deemed as acceptable, I just want to clarify. You can prefer any body type you want. You can. If you want to be 450 pounds, 500 pounds, and, that's fine. If you want to, deal with that, get diabetes, and have your foot amputated, that's also fine. If you want to be 100 pounds, 75 pounds, and be like a skeleton, and, die of heart failure, that's also fine. Go for it. Just take with what you get from it. And also, if you're a little bit underweight, or if you're a little bit overweight, that's fine too. It's just not extreme ends of it. You'll be fine. Just don't take it to extremes. At least, you can take it to extremes if you want to either way. Just you gotta take the consequences of it. But again, that's another video for another time.
Well, damn, okay, shoddy. But like, seriously though, the way you word this was low-key condescending to those struggling with extreme parts on the body shape scale, my dude. Saying shiznit is like, oh yeah, you could get your foot amputated or catch diabetes if you want to be like 450 pounds. Or saying, you could also be a skeleton and die of heart failure if you want to be like 100 pounds, really doesn't make you look like the least dickish person when you could have easily said, oh yeah, you could do as you wish with your body, just be careful, and deliver the same message in a less fear and anxiety inducing way, my guy. Oh, and remember this condescending tone for later because I love keeping cards up my sleeve.
Excuse me? You not only fucked your own grandson.
That I notice when you look into the comment section with arguing, and you look at this art piece, there's a lot of people who are of normal size or normal weight, and they have like bigger personas, and if you want to wear those fursuits to conventions and everything, this art piece that this artist made is basically saying like, hey, you know, it's not good for you to, you know, have padding in it. You know, maybe it's because it's not realistic or something. So, you know, if you're a thin person, you should have a thin character, and if you're a bigger person, then you should have a bigger character, things like that, or at least for fursuits.
It literally didn't say that. I already explained why. Everything came out before your video, so why don't you have this? I don't even think I can take this anymore. Lord, give me my Doritos and turn them to Cheetos to be delivered to Mitos and talk to them Tito's, tell them to make the burritos to be hot like the Vito.
Vorny. Fucking Vorny.
Body type doesn't indicate your value as a person. And I feel like this kind of post with this kind of mindset in it kind of goes against that and thinks that like, hey, certain other people are more desirable or important or based off of this more so than this body type or whatever. It's just very close-minded, and it's very, how do I say, it's condescending as well, and it's not good. And I'm glad that a lot of people called this out.
So now we ain't gonna act like you weren't a bit condescending to those who deal with extremes when it comes to their body types? Alright then. Listen, while your hypocrisy of being condescending wouldn't make you wrong about this case, it still doesn't make you look good either. This is because if you call something a problem and you do it yourself, you simply won't have the same thing you deem as a problem within your own video. So I recommend this: simply watch over what you do before calling others out on the same thing. That being all I have to say, on to my final thoughts. Alright, so I never flat out stated it, but the structure of this video is messy. A lot of things I had to skip were just unneeded tangents or just very repetitive statements. So a way you could fix that is by making a script, if you don't already, and have it checked by others as well as yourself multiple times. When reporting on drama or any kind of news period, you should also try your best to look into everything and show everything so you don't end up missing the point of what may be happening. I think if you fix these issues, you could definitely do better. And with that, I'm out. Stay coolio.